We're on. We're off. We're off and racing. Oh. We're going straight in here.
Okay.
We're off.
Big day.
Big day. Big film clip. We're fresh off the set of the film clip from last week. For us, it's today. So we had to adjust our seating. So riveting conversation. Because I'm considerably shorter than you, LJ. It doesn't seem so now, but there's a lot that goes back behind the scenes in order to get us at this perfect angle that we see ourselves in.
We prop you up on your high chair.
Yes. So I've got a little high chair, a little booster seat. I've also got a nice little stand for my legs, so that I'm not, dangling off the ground.
You're not.
My legs is dangling so high. Oh, but I'm of average stature.
Yes.
Says Google. Yeah. I'm 160. The average for Australian ladies is 162, I think, or something like that. So
you looked it up.
Of course I looked it up. I had to prove a point. I've been told that I'm short. I'm average stature.
Oh.
You're tall.
No.
You're a freak. Yeah.
No, stop saying
with your rugby shoulders.
I know. But what makes it worse is that I'm wearing a cable knit jumper today. And I was saying to you that I was quite conscious of wearing a cable knit jumper on screen because it was just gonna enhance my rugby shoulders and make me look big.
There's nothing wrong with your beautiful rugby shoulders.
Thank you.
You shouldn't be ashamed.
I remember growing up, my brother would say to me, Elle Macpherson is beautiful and she's broad. You've just got broad shoulders. You're a swimmer. And I remember No,
I'm just saying.
No, I'm not a swimmer. No, I'm not a swimmer.
I've seen you swim. You're not a swimmer.
No, but I get my stature from my mum's family, and they're all a lot taller than me. And I remember when I went to Italy, I think I was 18, which is when we were both in Italy. And I went to my dad's town and I called my brother and I said, I feel like a giant. I feel so uncomfortable here. I just feel so huge. And he said, go to mum's town.
So you can feel normal?
Yeah. He said, go to mum's town by the beach. And he said, I don't know if this is true, but he said they're swimmers. They're all swimmers because they live by the beach and they're broad. That's why they've got that broad stature. I don't know if that's true.
Yep.
Dad's from the mountain, mum's from the beach, and he's like, that's why they've got different.
Maybe. Who knows? Italy's very small. There's not that much difference, especially in the same region. Like, what is it? Like a 20-minute drive? Probably.
A bit more.
So I remember you telling me a little bit of a story about all your short friends. Oh, that's very loud.
We have workmen outside.
We have tradesmen outside. They're doing some work to the set.
And I've done my neck, so I can't. I've done my
bang,
neck.
Bang, bang, bang. Be quiet. So if you hear some background noise, apologies this week. It's the dulcet tones of the workmen tradies.
I got a rose burn on our last film clip.
She did. And unfortunately now, Linda's going to be a bit stiff. But Linda...
and if you don't know what rose burn is, it's
watch
in episode 1.
And please don't watch episode 1.
It's in episode 1.
But please don't watch it. You've got a funny story, Linda.
Because again, you're like talking as if you're on a radio station.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So
Linda has a funny story.
But now I've got a funny story.
Tell me.
No.
Tell me your story.
So when I get sick, before you and Lynn told me to take a Panadol if I had a fever, I would just let it ride. And I remember once I had it for a few days and you and Lynn said, you need to bring your fever down because you can fry your brain.
Yep.
Correct. Explains a lot of my visions. It explains a lot of my kooky way of thinking and hallucinations. But anyway, I used to hallucinate all the time when I had a fever, and it was quite common. It was just like, I'm sick now and I'm hallucinating.
Yeah.
But one of the common things that I used to hallucinate with is seeing myself as this giant. So I'd be in bed, but I wouldn't move because I was afraid of killing the little people. So I would see myself as this big giant in a little village. Stop.
With all your little friends.
It's like, can you please move? I don't want to hurt you. And they were like tiny little lemmings rolling, or like, you know, going about their day in their village. And I was massive. Like, if you can imagine, say if this microphone was me, they would be like 50 to 100 little people.
Okay.
Around.
Like you now, your size, your current size, and other people are like little,
Like this.
like grapefruits.
yeah.
No,
like
not
little-
even smaller.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
And I would lie there and go,
Little lemons.
yes, lemmings. Yeah.
Lemmings, lemons.
And I would lie there and go, can you please move? Because I'd want to roll over because I'd get quite stiff in bed from being sick, and I'd go, I want to move now. Please make some room.
Crush the little people.
Yeah, and I didn't want to crush them because I was hallucinating. So I would stay there frozen in a stiff state. And I'm like, please, I want to move.
That's beautiful that you saved the little people.
But I think it's so funny because I don't know. I'm not huge. I'm not that huge. I'm not tall. I'm not huge. But I've always been around. I've always had besties that are been smaller than me. I've always had like my cousin who was smaller than me. She was like really petite and fragile and, you know, gorgeous little, and I'm this giant
Amazon woman.
and then in high school, you know, made friends with friends that were small. Not all of them.
You've only got, well, you've got a few small friends. I mean, I'm average, but the others are small. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why it comes out when I'm feverish. I imagine myself as being
Crushing the
a
littles.
giant, not wanting to crush a small village of people.
The tiny people, you know. The little people. So, origin story for me. I've always thought of myself, again, I thought I was tall and I thought I wasn't little. And I used to be, obviously, you know, I used to be quite heavy. And for me, I've never felt little. I've always felt like a big giant. I've always felt like I'm always like, raw. And when we're filming, now that it's funny because you're so much taller than me and I prop you up. I need a high chair and little, so my legs don't dangle. And I've never felt that I was little.
And can
until
I
this
say,
podcast.
and also I've been saying to you, Veneer, like and I'm a sloucher.
Oh, I'm a big sloucher.
And I've always, because
I'm a worse sloucher.
You're
I'm
terrible.
Terrible.
The other day I was saying to you, Veneer, what are you doing?
I know. I don't know
Sit
what
up.
to do.
Sit up.
It's
and
years.
shoulders
Okay,
back. And I
that-
saw you walking and I said,
It's
Veneer,
horrible. I know.
shoulders back. And I asked if it was because of all of your running.
No,
Because
probably that doesn't help.
the
That doesn't help my running posture. But having said that, that's so. Let me say something about this is my personal experience with my. Look at me sitting up tall now. Look how tall I am. My average stature.
This is the body episode.
This is the the body dedicated to Elle Macpherson.
Oh, yes.
I like the rolling
Yes.
inch. Beautifully, just seamlessly rolled in. I don't think that my slouching is because it's not physical. It manifests physically, but my slouching is years and years of feeling overweight and feeling like I'm taking up too much space and always going, oh, I'm so big. I'm going to just make myself smaller. I've just got to make myself smaller. So it's years of and I remember my mum always says, sit up straight, stand up straight. And it's like, that's the effect. The cause is my self-esteem. So telling someone to stand up straight is not going to help their self-esteem. Telling someone that they're worthy, that they're building up their confidence is what's going to straighten their back or straighten their posture if they are a sloucher or if they're someone who's insecure.
Yeah.
Telling them you're slouching, stand up straight, that it's one of those things that has to start from the inside. It has to start with the external is just a manifestation of the internal. So I now, with more confidence and with my old age, but it's physical. So now I've got that, but I'm very conscious of trying to stand up straight, to move my shoulders back, like to really just be conscious of it.
And I've seen, certainly I have some friends, but, I've seen some other people, but I've certainly seen some friends that, walk with their shoulders back, and I'm perplexed and in awe of them. And I think, wow, how do they have confidence to stand like that and walk like that and not feel like they are prey for,
Okay. I never thought I was prey. I just didn't want to be seen. I just wanted to hide.
Well, yes. But that's part of being prey.
I wasn't prey. No, it was for me it was a lack of self-confidence. For you, maybe it was different.
I think it was both for me.
Okay.
It was definitely like feeling like too big, like I was taking up too much space, be quieter, be well behaved, be smaller. And I think as women in society we're told to so that's why I was in awe of women that would walk with their
that confidence.
Yeah, and their back.
Yeah.
Straight. And I remember once walking with a friend and I saw a male walk the opposite way, and I suddenly went inwards.
Oh, wow.
And she said, "What are you doing?"
Everybody looks up at this. She's so big. She's such a big lady.
I said, "What are you doing?" And she told me off.
Oh, okay.
And I said, and she said, "I saw you do that. Why did you do that?" And I said, "Because I didn't want him to approach us." And she said, "So walk in a way that you're telling them to F off. Be strong." And I didn't know that I could do that. And I remember once testing it out. I went in, and I was in a bad place, and I was walking in the city, and I saw a group of guys, and I could see them going, "Oh, we're gonna go and talk to her," doing this, and I would play it nice, I'm usually the what's it called in the fright fear thing,
Your flight.
No, it's not flight. So there are 4 responses to fear. And the first one is fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
Yep.
And I would usually fawn to get myself out of situations, or freeze.
Yep.
Or flight would be my third. My fight would be my fourth.
Flight.
Fight.
Oh, fight.
Fight is my fourth, which is usually someone's first response.
Yeah.
But it changes. It changes as I grow. As I've become older.
Yeah.
It's changed. So out of those 4 responses, I would usually fawn. And I remember walking in the city and seeing these group of guys, and I could see them going, and I knew what was going to happen. And usually I would try to act nice so that they would go away. But then with my friends' advice and watching and observing other friends and the way they behaved, I thought, no, I was in a bad place as well. Someone had hurt me a lot. So I thought, no more. And I saw them and I just gave them this look. So I saw one of the guys started walking going, all right, I'll go. And they were like, woo. And so he started walking towards me, and I just shot up and looked at him like, don't you effing dare, but without words.
Beautiful.
And
That's
then
exactly what you need. Beautiful.
And he turned around and walked back. He just went,
shit himself.
And went back, and I went, oh my gosh, that worked.
Yeah.
And me acting docile and fawning never worked.
No.
They were just like,
you'll pray. Yeah, easy target. This one's not going to fight back. So a funny story was that once I was at the beach, and I was playing, with some friends, and we were standing in like the shallow end, and this kid from nowhere, his ball came over to us, and I went to grab it, and then he goes, give us the ball, you fat bitch, or something like that. And I looked at him and I said, I'll fucking drown you, you little cunt. And I threw the ball back. little, and I was maybe mid-20s at this point. I was fat. Okay, that's fine. But like, you little turd calling an older person a fat bitch. B, I'm getting your ball. That's another one. So that perturbed me. I was very upset about that. But again, I retaliated.
So you're a fighter.
I'm a fighter, and I would have drowned him. No, I wouldn't. No, I would never do that. Where's the CIA? No, I would never. I would never drown. I would never drown anybody, for the record. But but I did say that to
blood,
him.
Your scorpion blood.
But interestingly enough, because I was bigger, I did get a lot of those comments, and it wasn't the first time. And I got another comment walking once when I was walking with some friends, and I got comments about you fat bitch. And I also got one recently when I was walking with Lynn, and we were walking home from a run. We'd done exercise. Anyway, we're walking home from a run, and we were on the footpath, and these little kids, like I'd say maybe 13 or 14, were riding their bikes on the footpath. And one of them under his breath, like they swerved, and one of them under his breath goes, "Move your fat bitch," or something. Was it move your fat bitch? Yeah, move your fat ass, or move your fat bitch, or move your fat ass. Yeah, said move your fat ass. So that's interesting.
He was talking about your
It's
ass.
interesting because I've been getting those comments for a very long time. And I've spoken to you, and I've spoken to some other friends of mine who've said, we have never been called that. But that's the other thing I'm thinking. This little 13-year-old boy disrespecting two older women. Mature women, like at their age, we're probably their mum's age, if not, younger or whatever, or older, whatever. But I'm like, that's disgusting. That was disgusting. And this is, what year are we in? 2025. Why are these kids, why do these children think that they have the right to say that to an older, that angered me. But it happens to me all the time. It's been happening to me all my life.
But the thing is, I was thinking if that was me, I'd take it as a compliment.
Oh, thank you.
Because I got that online. She's got a fat ass. And I was like, I've noticed in myself, in my growth, that I will magnify things that are my greatest fears and my greatest hang-ups and things from my childhood. I was going to say I have a hang-up of like, I thought I had an accent for a really long time, but now I'm okay with that. Like today when we were filming.
You don't have an accent. You've got a speech impediment. We were singing our song from last episode, Neuralgia, and Linda could not get it.
No.
Could not get it.
I couldn't say spaghetti when I was younger. There were certain words that I couldn't say. And that's in my family. There are certain words and certain lisps and things that we...
You don't have a lisp though.
I know. But like growing up, I remember up until... I don't even know. One of our friends, I was saying that I had an accent, and one of our friends said, "You don't have an accent." And I said, "What do you mean?" "I have an accent." And she said, "You do not have an accent."
Well, you've got an Australian accent.
Well, no, yes, exactly.
You've got this beautiful Italian migrant child accent that I have.
No,
we have it.
I thought I had, yes, but I thought I had a very strong Italian accent that I'd been fighting most of my life to get
like
rid
you thought
of.
You sounded like Michele, who's only been in Australia for like 10 years.
I thought I had those twangs. But you know what's
You don't talk like this. It's fine.
But that's what I thought I sounded like. So.
Yeah, well, I don't think you have a strong accent. I think you can tell that we
are from out of town.
are not from Kansas. You can tell that. But you can tell, you can tell that we are kids of the North. And I know you don't think you are North.
No,
I
definitely. Yeah. No,
not as far north as I am. But
no, not as far north as but I know.
Oh my God.
That
used to be a show.
That's not the accent I had. Although I once had a thing happen with a friend of mine. He's wearing horrible heels one night. We went to, it was actually a MIF after party. I must only go to MIF because that seems to be
only once a year when Linda gets out of the house. Just that once.
So we're at a MIF a party and I wore these uncomfortable heels, and I never wear uncomfortable heels anyway.
How can heels be anything but uncomfortable?
I always have very comfortable heels. Anyway, these were not comfortable. And my friends were very sweet. They were taking turns staying with me because I had to stay stationary. I was like, guys, I can't. I was holding onto a table and I was like, I can't move. And I'd also done Pilates earlier on that day and I hadn't done it for a long time. So my legs were shaking. And then I had taken a lot of back medication. I was all over the place. Anyway, by the time we got out, I said to my friend, no, seriously, I cannot walk in these heels and I don't want to be walking barefoot in the CBD. So he lifted me up and I had a mini skirt on and he lifted me up and he put me on his back. And he always jokes about this because he said, I never thought you had that accent. He goes, but obviously in moments of crisis and a different side of you comes out. He always he says this, oh my God, John, my pussy's hanging out. Say that, but
I'm sure you did.
No, I did say it. I said, oh my God, John, my pussy's hanging out. But he was like,
oh my God.
He almost dropped me to the floor. Like I was on top of him and he cackled and he kind of bent over and I was holding on to the fence, like the iron fence of the library, the state library, because I couldn't stand. And he's falling down laughing and going, I did not think you had that accent. He goes, oh my God, that's your real accent. And I said, no, it's not my real accent. And he's like, oh my God, John, my pussy's hanging out. Anyway.
We've all got that accent in times of crisis.
Yeah,
I've had it.
I didn't. He gave me that.
But you know what? It's okay.
If I have that accent, I have that
That's
accent.
fine. And I'm okay with my accents. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. That's
I can
why
transition
so
between
good.
them.
I know. That's why we should be voiceover.
Definitely.
We should have a lot of. We'd love to do a cartoon.
Would we?
Would we?
Yeah.
I don't
sure.
know. I was looking at some reels.
Why not? I'll do a cartoon.
There's a cartoon reel.
I'll do a cartoon.
An animation reel. That would be really cute.
Would be. I auditioned for one once.
You did.
I didn't get it.
But you got close. You got
close.
back.
Close. I got asked to submit. That's how close I got.
No, you submitted and
then I got asked to submit the actual. Then I got the script.
Yes.
Yep. So that's not close. That's
it's pretty good. Means they liked you.
That's what else do we have? Is there anything else we could use?
Yes, but
we did do a voice thing for a short film recently.
Oh yes.
Which I'm looking forward to seeing what they used.
Yes, if they used anything.
And even if we don't get used, we'll give you a shout out. We'll wait for it to come out.
For sure. Lovely awesome
man.
Director.
Yes, lovely man. So I was also there was also another story that made me laugh of yours when you're accused wrongly of something and how you retaliated.
Yes. So I was driving down Punt Road and there was a man that was coming up to cars and asking for money at the stoplights. And it's very hard to have cash these days.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Everything is tap, tap, tap. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes I don't even carry a physical card with me. It's my phone. Anyway, so he said, oh, excuse me, love. Yeah. You got some cash? And I said, oh, let me have a look. So while I turned and I'm scavenging going, oh my gosh, do I have anything? Do I have any coins? Do I have anything? There was a guy that yelled out something in another car beside me. And I thought maybe he was saying move along or something. And I turned around and I said, I'm sorry, what? And he said, I'm not talking to you, tight ass.
So this is the man asking you for money?
No.
Oh.
No, this was another driver. Yeah. Did you not?
No, I thought it was the guy asking for money.
No, this was a guy in a fancy car, like a fancy four-wheel drive. And I'm in my little,
calling you a tight ass.
Little Mazda 2. And I'm looking for money, scavenging, like going, oh, give me a moment because, we're at the lights as well. So I've got to hurry up. And this guy said, hey, over here. He said something like that, hey, over here. So I thought he was talking to me.
Yeah.
So I turned around, but he was talking to the other guy. And I said, I'm sorry. And he said, I'm not talking to you, tired ass. I went, what? And he said, come over here, mate. I've got something for you. And I went, and I was like, but I was, and Michaela was driving and drove off. And I said, no, wait, but I was looking for money. I'm not a tight ass. And I'm like, out of everyone, I'm not.
You're not a tight ass.
And it killed me.
I know.
And the whole drive, I kept going on about it. I was like, I kept saying, I can't believe that man thought I was a tight ass. And Michaela said, who cares? You're not. I said, no, but I always give.
You want to correct a wrong.
I always give, even when I know they're using the money for something wrong. I remember once giving, there was this girl in the city and she was saying, she was going around and saying, I'm late for a babysitting job. Do you have any money? Do you have 50 cents so I can make a phone call? I'm late for a babysitting job and I don't have any cash. And I felt bad for her and I gave her a $5 note. I think I gave her more. I said, here, I have. And then I saw her doing the same story again and again in the city.
Yeah. That happens.
Gutted.
That happens.
But that doesn't stop me from giving.
No.
And
it shouldn't.
I think out of everyone.
If your character is attacked, it's like, that is not who I am.
That's not who I am.
That's
but why does
a
it
misrepresentation.
Matter? Why does it matter so much, especially a stranger?
Yeah.
But it got me.
Yeah.
It really got me because I was like, I am not a tight ass. And I was like, turn the car around. Let's chase him so I can tell him who I am.
Yeah. Yep. It hurts.
It does.
It really hurts. Because your character, because it's wrong and someone has the wrong impression of you. And, and I find it really difficult I don't want people to get the wrong impression. And I've always, and especially doing this podcast, I've been very conscious of that and very conscious of what I say. And a lot of the time,
and I'm like, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go,
and you're like, let it go, release the hounds. And I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted to say. Or if there's something that hasn't come across properly, like, oh, we've got to keep it. It adds this, but it didn't come across. That's not what I wanted to say. And a lot of the time too, some of the stuff we say sounds flippant because it doesn't have a backstory. It doesn't have the origin of where it comes from. And I think a lot of the time,
we're also used to talking to each other so much,
and we know
assume
everyone knows who we are, and not everyone does. And so from my perspective, I mean, when a lot of the time we talk about not working, not having a job, we do need to work.
I was just going to say we do need to work.
And we work hard. And this is a passion project for us.
We work so hard.
We do.
And we're privileged to be in this position.
Absolutely.
To be able to work so hard
100%.
and not have monetary success and reward just yet.
Yeah. And that comes back to when I was talking about an origin story. So what listeners might not know or might not see is how long I struggled in an unfulfilling role my career wise, and how long. I mean, one day I think it was when I was thinking back. It was after. It was in 2019 where I broke down. I think you were overseas, and I broke down in a cafe. I don't cry. I don't cry in front of people. I don't show like that, but I couldn't hold it back. And I was so dissatisfied in my career and where I was, not knowing what direction to take, trying to fulfill my passions or fulfill something inside me by trying different things like, doing the Ironman and endurance sports to try and find myself. And all of that absolutely added to like is a lesson for me and added to my character and who I am and who I am today. It adds to that. But when we say things, or when I particularly say things like dissatisfied with my career, or, quit your job, or, you're selling your soul, that is a complete reflection of my life and how I felt about selling my soul. And anyone else in my predicament. I'm not saying everybody is in that predicament, and I'm not saying that career is important to everyone. Everyone has something that is important to them, and everything comes at a cost. And for me, the cost of not being in the right career or not being in the right job was heavy, and it felt like my soul. So anyone in that position may feel the same way. And not everybody feels that their career is important, because if some people need to provide for their family, then that's number one. And the cost to them is their career, let's say, because they have to have a job to provide for their family, because that is the price they're willing to pay for their family. And I don't like that my comment, the flippant comment that I made all those months ago when we first started the podcast, as in everyone's selling their soul. You're selling your soul if it's not what you want.
And
if you are working towards a means, then you're not selling your soul, because you're providing for your family and you're putting food on the table. Then you're not. You're actually providing for your family. It felt like selling my soul for me, because I was dissatisfied and I was wishing my life away every moment. And I got to a point where I felt not worthy. I felt stupid. I felt like I didn't contribute. I didn't feel like I had any self-worth. I felt like I wasn't living to my abilities. That was 2019, where I was that dissatisfied and broken down. Now, between now and 2019, I'm not a math person, but how many years is that? That's a lot of time. That's 6 years, right? That's 6 years of having to plan a way to get myself out of that situation. It wasn't that I woke up one day and thought, I don't want to work anymore. I'm done. I'm just going to chuck it out. I'm going to do it. Linda, what are you doing? Let's do a podcast. That's not where it started. So this origin and this backstory of where I've come from is important. And not to say that the gratitude that I feel on a daily basis, and I do practice gratitude through yoga, but not only that, I am constantly very, very, very aware of my situation and where I am, and what a disservice it would be to not take this opportunity for myself and to try and rectify all those years that I was unhappy, and taking and the time it took for me to get out of that situation was not seen. So when you look at, let's say, a race, and you look at the race, you see people at the beginning of a race and you see people going, well done, go for it. And then you see at the end, the glory. You don't see the work in between. You don't see the heartache. You don't see the difficulty. You don't see the struggle of the middle. The middle's where the magic happens, and you only see the beginning or the end. Or someone goes, and especially with the Olympics is a perfect example. You see these athletes having these wonderful moments, getting their gold medal, but you don't see them getting up at 5:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning every morning, especially swimmers, and going swimming, and then going to school or going to work, and then going back to the pool. You don't see those. You see the glory, and everyone just sees the glory, or everyone says. So for me, the glory or success for me was measured in I've left my job, and that is not the whole story. And I don't want to be misrepresented for thinking that, I take this for granted in any way, and I don't. And I'm working hard, and I'm trying to make something out of this. Both of us are. Yeah. We're putting a lot of effort into this.
Yes.
So that has the same tone as someone calling you a tight ass, because that's not what you are, and that's not where you came from, and that is a misrepresentation of your character, and that's really important to me.
Mm. And we've had to compromise a lot along the way. Yes, we are in a privileged spot. We are privileged enough to be able to take.
We live in Australia. We live in Melbourne. That's just one of our privileges.
Absolutely. But not only are we being damn courageous, I'm going to say it. I don't. Does it sound conceited?
Can sound whatever.
It's a courageous step that we've taken to be able to look at our lives and say, I cannot live like this. But I think you and I were probably, and maybe there's other people that are in positions where they really are at the end of the rope and saying, I cannot live like this.
But that's when change happens.
That is when change
happens. And that's when things can change. When you're pushed to the edge of where you are, and you've been there, and I've been there, to the point where you can't keep going in that cycle. that's not good for you. And it is it's a privilege to be here, but it is also a privilege to be at a point where you can get out of that situation, because that not everybody gets out.
And to have the support, because we've had to ask our partners to come on this journey or support this journey for us, and
they saw episode 1
and say, this is a risk. This is a compromise for both of us. Are we happy with our life? You have to look at your life and say, we're going to live within these means. And are you okay with that? We're asking our partners, are you okay to go on this journey? Can you believe in me?
Yeah.
For this,
And again, another thing that we're so grateful for, our partners that support us.
Every
100%. And not only that touches on another topic, the price we pay to do this. So I've got elderly parents. You've got an elderly mum. This is time away from my parents. This is time that I could be spending more time with my parents, the limited time I have. But that's anyone. You sacrifice your sacrifice. So the cost of doing this is actually quite selfish in a way.
Yes.
Because I'm doing this for me, but at the same time, it's costing me in a different way, and it's not monetary. Like aside from not working, the cost of doing this is time, and time, you do not put a price on time, because time is just special. But
special.
I try,
even though we've talked about timelines,
it's not linear. We can go back any time.
But we do cherish time. And
yes.
Yep. We've been confronted with time.
Yeah.
I think going back to there's a couple of things I want to say to you. But going back to how dissatisfied you were in your life, I think when we say that to people, I don't think they understand what that actually means.
Well, only because it's the value that they place on that thing might not be the same as the value that I place on that particular thing.
For sure. We want to give so much more. I have a friend who is, I've talked to you about them before. They're some sort of a genius.
Oh. Do I know this person?
You do. You do. And they were with someone once, and their ex-partner would say to them, or say to me, because I'd say, oh my gosh, they're such a genius. And their ex would say, but they're not fulfilling life. They're not giving those gifts. They're not fulfilling their life to the best of their ability, because they could do so much more with that genius. And when I spoke to my friend and I said, oh, would you do something else? And they said, why? I'm living a really great life. I get to travel. I've paid off my house. I get to go to dance parties whenever I want. I get to do this. I get to live the life I love, love going out to eat. And they're someone that I admire a lot. And it really changed my perspective, because I thought that's all that matters. It's you need to be satisfied.
The value you place on that thing.
But you and I have bigger dreams. You and I we have felt trapped, and we have felt like we were not
worth anything.
Yeah. And yeah.
And the other thing too, which we've spoken about before, is the measurement of success. Now, our podcast is making at the moment, hang on, how much are we making? $0.
It's costing.
It's costing.
We're minus. We are now
negative. Thank you to our benefactors, our spouses. But the success, and I love that the person that reiterated this to me was my partner, Lynn, and she said, what's success? You guys are doing this. Isn't that success? What is success? Does it have to be successful in order for you to achieve success? You're doing it. And you were dissatisfied in your job, and you quit your job, and you're on this journey. Yeah, you're privileged to have the opportunity, but you're on this journey. You're doing it. You're on the road, and a lot of the time you feel conflict, because when you're in a place where you want to be on this path, but you're on another path, there's conflict within yourself. And I liken this to dieting, which is a very dear to my heart, dieting where you're in conflict because you want one outcome, yet you're having a chocolate. So those two don't align. And when you're out of alignment, there's conflict. So I liken this for me when I am trying to find my path and I'm living another path, that is conflict. So being on this path for me has aligned my feelings of where I'm going. And it was the same with when I was training. So it was like, well, this is my goal and I'm training and it feels good because I'm aligned. So success for me as well, whether this podcast sees 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, is the fact that we're doing it and I'm true to my goal at this time, or true to my calling, if it is a calling, or if there is some sort of divine intervention putting me on this path.
Although I think you and I both understand that true success is happiness. I think you and I really do understand that.
Yep.
And again, we can allow ourselves to compromise maybe some materialistic things because we know at the end of the day that's not what's going to make us truly happy and fulfilled.
Yep.
And that is what success is. And if you break it down, if you ask someone, so why are you doing what you're doing? And why are you striving to be successful? What are
you wanting to achieve with this?
What are you wanting to achieve? And you keep probing and you keep asking that question. At the end, it's freedom. At the end is, I just want to spend time with my family, or I want to make art. And when, I don't know if I ask myself that and I think, so I'm successful. And sometimes, I've made the joke with Michaela going, I think I've made it.
I think this is it.
This is it. I'm making my art. I'm acting. I'm getting jobs. I'm I'm doing a podcast with someone I admire and love so much, and I'm having so much fun with you.
We're good.
I think I've made it.
Yeah.
And that's I'm in a very privileged
you are
position,
but it's gratitude.
But I've worked hard to get here, and I've sacrificed a lot, and I've sacrificed a lot of time, and I've given away a lot of my time. You talked about time before. I've given a lot of my time away to other organizations and other jobs
and other people's dreams.
Other people's dreams. And at the end of the day, I thought, I'm not living my own life.
Mm-hmm. And you're finally doing that now.
Yes.
But again, your origin story.
It's been so hard. Yes, go on.
Your origin story. No, but I mean your origin story of, again, you didn't just wake up and go, we're just going to start this podcast, or you had to get out of a difficult situation to do that.
It was really hard.
You were
a lot
in
of my
a prison.
I was, and I remember...
Not literally, people.
No, but
she wasn't in prison.
And I remember years ago, my psychologist, I remember saying to her, I feel like a trapped bird. I feel like a bird that is loved, that is adored, that is in a cage and is admired, but I can't get out. I can't fly. And I said, my carer loves me, but I can't get out. And I can perform in this cage, but I can't get out. And she said, but you can. And I said, no, that's how I feel. I'm frozen. I feel frozen. I'm always frozen. And she said, no, you can get out. And I said, how? How do I get out? She told me, she alluded to steps. Mm-hmm. But I thought they were impossible. And along the journey, and it's been years. I mean, that was like a decade ago. Along the way, it's funny, we talk about time and meeting people and the idea of things will repeat in your life until you break out. And it's kind of like some people say that time is like a spiral, and until you break it, you will keep meeting the same person.
You're in the same groove.
Thing. That's why people say time is not linear, time is not real, time is a spiral, because you will keep meeting that same story,
repeating patterns,
repeat your patterns. And we are beings of we love pattern and numbers. Let's not go there. We've already
some love numbers.
already had the numerology, but we'll revisit mathematical,
because I love numbers.
I do love numbers anyway. And so I kept meeting people along the way that would say, you can get out, and I couldn't see a way out, even though they'd tell me this is the way out, and I just couldn't envision it until I did. And then it was still hard though.
It's acknowledging that you need a way out.
Yes.
Because sometimes
number one,
you can't acknowledge, you don't know you're locked up. You don't know you're in a place that you're not happy.
Yes. And sometimes I can see it in other people, and I'll say, you need to get out. And I had people saying that to me. I had one of our friends saying, you need to get out of, and and I'd say, okay, so if this happens and this happens and this happens, then I'll be okay. And she would say, no, you need to make something happen.
Actively take charge.
Because
actively
if
take
all of those
action.
steps don't happen, what are you going to do? And I would always reply, well, this has to happen. And she'd say, no, you need to make a change. What are you going to do?
So there's this fable of this man that is stranded, and he's in a flood, and he's trying to save himself. So he prays to God, God, please save me. And so then a boat comes past and says, come on, I'll give you a hand. And he says, no, God will save me. And the boat's like, okay. So the boat leaves. And then, he's still saying, God, please save me, please save me.
He climbs on top of his house. He keeps going from one level to another.
Yep.
And then he gets on top of the roof.
And then a helicopter comes, and the helicopter says, come on, hold on to get on the ladder, get up here. And the guy says, no, God will save me. So he stays there. And then he dies, and he goes to heaven, and he meets God. And he says to God, I was praying to you. Why didn't you save me? He said, I sent you a boat, I sent you a helicopter, and you didn't take it.
Well, he sent a lot of things. He missed out all the
Sorry,
ground.
do you want to say it?
No, that was perfect.
But it's
quick.
You get the idea.
You get the idea that he sent a lot of help, and it's about not acknowledging the gifts that God does present you with. Follow the breadcrumbs. I said that to you the other day. I said, follow the breadcrumbs.
Making me hungry.
No, because I think I've also learned in my life that I've wanted something so badly, and then those opportunities have presented themselves, and I've thought that wasn't the way. It wasn't the way that I'd imagined this opportunity opening up for me. So I would knock it back and say, oh, no. And that's why I don't like, the saying of if it's meant to be, because I think
you've got to make something be.
And those opportunities are always going to present themselves, especially we've talked about, and we keep repeating you're laughing, the reticular activating system. Well,
You've got to keep your eyes out for it.
Yes.
But when you're looking for an escape, you'll find an escape route, but it might not present itself straight away.
And not the way that you expect it to.
And it could be years in the making, but you can still plant that seed and try and make it grow. You can still... I wasn't ready in 2019 to quit my job. Circumstances didn't allow it. But I slowly tried to find a way. And it's like, if you're stuck somewhere, you just try and find a way. You try and find another way. You try and find another way. And that's eventually how you get out. It's not immediate. But to acknowledge that you need to find a way is important, because then your eyes are open to, there's a door, there's a crack. I can get through that,
So Lynn, our producer, I'm going to say that, has just
part-time
reminded us God helps those who help themselves. And I remember you saying that to me. And you were the one who introduced me to the proverb of the man. I think why that hits so much is because you're presented with all of these, life's gifts, and you're not taking them, and then what a disservice. What a disservice to your life. What a dishonor to God, actually. And I say that to my mum. I'll say, you are God's child as well. So you help so many other people and put yourself in a worse position. You are God's child as well. Why aren't you loving yourself?
You're deserving as well.
You are deserving as well.
Mm.
And I think, a lot of people, we've been conditioned to give a lot of away, and we've been conditioned to that it's, I don't know, egotistical to have
It's
all the
not,
glories, or we've been, especially in Australia, we talk about the
Tall poppy
the
syndrome.
tall poppy syndrome. My goodness, if anyone's in the creative arts in Australia, my goodness, how hard it is. When you talk about manifestation, it's been misrepresented so much. And I think what it is just you're telling yourself that you want something, and it's also you're telling yourself, and you're telling God, and you're telling the universe, and whether we're all the same thing, those things, when they're presented, you're going to take them, and you're also telling yourself and the universe and God, you're saying, I'm ready for change. I'm ready to take that opportunity to change my life. Yes, give it to me, because you do have to tell the universe. And scientists have actually done tests about how important it is to verbally say something, but actively think it. You have to actively think it.
If everything is born through a thought, whether positive, negative, otherwise, everything starts with a thought. Anything that's happened in this world, any invention, everything began with a thought. And if we cannot allow ourselves to even think something, then how are we ever supposed to live that thing? So if it's like I can't even think about, what I'd do if, I don't know, if I had some time or if I had, I don't know, whatever it is.
Well, if you wake up and say, I will make time.
How can you ever have time if you don't ever make time? No,
okay.
that is the Matrix quote. How can you ever have time? How can you ever have time if you never make time? It's true. Time doesn't appear. We get the same amount of hours during the day. Different. We got different. You don't get the same.
Beyonce gets different hours than
everyone. Beyonce does. Wow.
I always say that.
It's because it's Illuminati.
Oh, no. Because once someone said, Beyonce has the same hours as you. She's doing this, and I'm
That's not exactly the same.
I don't think Beyonce does have the same time that we do.
Anyway, I'm not talking. She doesn't even exist. She's an astral projection.
That's
apparently,
right.
because we don't know her unless anyone's met her. Don't know.
If you watched or listened to episode 7, we talk about that. We talk about
astral projections.
We talk about celebrities being nothing but astral projections,
unless you meet them, and in which case they become a soul.
They become something in
anybody, not just celebrities.
Anyone. Everyone's a background extra until they're within your realm, and then they project something to you about your life, and then that's when they have meaning in your life.
And so, what I was saying about we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have the same amount of time. It's just how we choose to distribute those hours. It's how we have chosen to live our lives, and we've put ourselves, whatever responsibilities we have, and everything that we have, not again like this podcast and my life too.
Time is the new commodity as well.
There's things in my life that I don't enjoy doing. They're admin. Like there's things we have to do. There's things that need to be done. I don't like doing the dishes. Dishes need to be done. I don't like, taking the cats to the vet. I don't like, there's shit that I got to do, and there's shit that other people have to do that they don't like. But if ultimately you're moving in the direction that you want your life to go in, then you are, which Ed talks about, value more than cost. Looking at things in your life as not how much it costs you, monetary or whatever. whatever time or whatever, it's irrelevant, the actual currency that you're using, because time is currency. Don't look at the cost of things, look at the value. And that's Ed Milet. He talks about looking at the value of things, not at the cost. Because if we look at the cost of our podcast, it is costing a lot. It's costing time with our families. It's costing time for me with my elderly parents. It's costing me time with my partner. It's costing me, a career potentially, if this is not the right avenue. It's costing me that.
Sure.
So, but I look at the value, and the value I'm getting in doing this is the self-growth, is doing something new, is the experience. I'm pretty happy doing this.
And we said that at the beginning. I mean, we've had many, many highs and lows that people don't see.
We have them daily,
Yes.
and I'm talking from 1 hour to another. I'm not even talking, a week of happy and a week of sad. I'm talking within the same hour, I can be going, fuck this, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm so tired. Why am I doing this? This is not even, where are we going with this?
Yes.
Who's listening? And everything's like, who's listening? Who cares?
And me one moment on the phone with you saying, Vinay, it's worth it. Vinay, just come on, just, try.
Don't leave me.
Uplifting you and saying it is worth it because of this, and this. And by the time you drive over, I'm crying because I've just received a phone call from someone who doesn't like something. Yeah. And it hurts me.
But you never show them.
Bawling.
They don't know how much it hurts.
No. But that's the other thing, when you've hit rock bottom and you're in a horrible state and you have peers around you or family and friends around you going, come on, like everyone wants to help you. Yeah. Everyone wants to help you. And I when I hit rock bottom, one of the things that I said to someone who I felt could make a difference when I wanted to get out of that career. And sometimes, some people are like, but you're so good at this. I remember once being in a job and I said, I want out. And they lured me in so many ways, and I kept going back. It's like that. And then they pull you back and they drag you back in. And but one of the things is, what is my life worth to you? Because I was in such a horrible state that I actually had to say that. I actually had to say, I don't think you understand how much I want to get out of this. I'm actually asking you to save my life. But the thing is that people want to help you out. And then when you're finally out and you're having some sort of relative success, and success is happiness.
Yes.
Because we're not making a lot of money, but we're happy. Yes. And when people are
we're not making any money, Linda.
Yeah. But when people then kind of are dissatisfied with the choice that you've made to be happy, that's not the choice that they would have made for you, or everyone wants to help you until you're at a point where you no longer need help. And then they want to drag you back down and say, oh, hang on, get back here. Yeah.
And you do, and I think we touched on this in the last episode, you do have a role, and it's when we come out of that role, or we're not in our what do you call it in acting? You're not in your marker. You're not on your mark. You get out of your mark, or it suddenly jolts everyth It starts to move everything around. It's like, let's shuffle the deck chairs.
Gets really upset.
But you know what I mean? So, and I think in life, and I'm not saying it's that literal, but it is in a way disrupting a dynamic. It's disrupting something. And that's change. Change is disruptive. And I don't think that change is a bad thing, but sometimes change affects dynamics. And that's...
And you've got to be willing to... We talked about communities. You've got to be willing sometimes. They say that when you shift yourself and you reach a higher level of yourself, there might be some people that you need to be willing to let go of in your life, that they're just not going to reach you at that place and you're on to a different phase.
You're on a different
And that's
journey.
been really hard for me along my journey. I know I've talked to you about this.
You've sacrificed some opportunities
Absolutely
to be able to keep people in your life.
People in my life.
Yeah.
I definitely gave away opportunities because I didn't want to upset people around me that were afraid of me leaving them or me achieving success and
change.
I'd rather keep the peace or I'd rather them love me.
Well, I love them so much. I don't want them to leave me.
Yes, that as well. Reassuring them and saying, I won't take that job. I'll stay with you. I won't take that opportunity. I don't want that. I want you more than that. And also the great mistake of having to think that you need to make a choice. Saying that if you have success in something, you're not allowed to have
give something
success.
up.
You've got to give something up. That is a stupid illusion.
Well, it's not an illusion in a way. Is what I'm saying is it's actually exactly what I was saying before, that path has a cost. Us doing this has a cost.
But I mean, to live, I think I always thought I have to give something up to have happiness in another area. I'm not allowed to have it all. I'm not allowed to be in a stable, loving relationship and have a beautiful, flourishing career. Yeah. I have to give something up.
Yeah. It's, okay, I've got the career, so I don't. And I made that mistake for many years because I was like, I'm happy with my relationship. I'm happy with my friends. I'm happy in my family. My parents are here. They love me. I'm so thankful and grateful. And then it's like, but my career, well, that's okay because that's just something maybe that's not for me, until I hit rock bottom.
Yes.
And felt so down and so, I can't even explain it, but just worthless, just absolutely worthless. And
how strange, because you mean so much to all of us.
Well, I don't know. I know I do to you guys, yeah. But for me, it doesn't.
It didn't matter. I remember saying that to you. I remember saying, but Vinay, you are so intelligent. You mean the world to us. You literally nicknamed the Messiah. How can you feel worthless?
Yeah.
And you said, but that didn't matter.
It doesn't matter what everyone else sees. It doesn't matter.
I think you do know, and going back to, you are an artist. You do have something to give to the world, and you weren't doing that.
No. And interestingly, I was following, and this is why I've admired you so much, and I've mentioned this before, yes, because you have been true to your passion. And you, for me, I sold out. I went into the corporate world. I just went, too hard. That's safe. That's an opportunity. That's what I need to do. That's my responsibility, is to build. And it's not the wrong thing. It's not just not right for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want, and we've always laughed about, why didn't you do drama? What? And I don't think I pursued art either way, whatever. As
we could have done this so long ago.
We're coming here. We're coming around. One of ourselves did it. One of ourselves did it.
We had these conversations. Yeah. You and I had these conversations when we were in high school.
It's never too late. Today's the youngest we'll ever be.
Ironically, we thought, we thought, one of my fondest memories of you in high school is, I don't even know why you would give me time, but we would sit outside and I had conspiracy theories then.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Yeah.
And
we were being watched.
Yeah. I've got to say something to you. And there were like sprinklers or something there were these little...
They were sprinklers.
Okay. They look like bugs. As in
microphones.
They look like miniature microphones.
And now
we're how ironic that now we're having this
broadcasted out. Yeah.
I used to get you to come here. Oh, it's not safe. Wait, this is bugged. I think this is bugged, Vinay. And you'd say, we're in a garden. I don't know where I'd bring you behind the school or something.
I remember what it looked like.
Yeah. And I'd say,
like a garden bed.
This is bugged. Wait, we got to move. Like, what was so important?
Yeah. No, we clearly Clearly we had this in mind. We were coming back from the past.
Really?
Maybe you were
It's
telling me
so
that we need to do this
strange.
podcast
It's
when
so
we're...
strange that I would grab you and say, come here, I need to tell you this.
Yeah.
But they're listening to
You're
us.
grooming
Everyone's
me. You're
listening
grooming
to
me
us.
for this podcast.
And why did I think everyone was listening to us back then? Because time is, it's all the same.
Yes.
Because somehow I knew back then we're in this situation that they could hear us. Because we're
They
doing
are
it to
hearing us.
And all along we've been doing it to ourselves.
Stop it. Stop it. No. But anyway, going back, I do still admire you for your convictions and your career. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I admire you too, Vanny.
Thanks.
This could go into next time, but I just wanted to say how proud you're making your mum and your parents and how proud your parents are and what a gift that is.
I hope they're proud, but even if they're not proud, they are supportive.
Yeah.
And
means
for
so
me,
much.
that's more than anything, because sometimes with the shit we talk about, I'm like, oh God, like,
I know.
what are they? Hopefully they can't understand.
Yeah.
But
I've told my family don't
explain it to your mum.
You know, my mum is of another world. My mum is strangely, when I was telling her about timelines and stuff, strangely
She was into it.
she was on board.
Well, my mum and dad were as well.
I mean, she's a bit of a dreamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my parents, I did tell them, and I tried to go into it because they asked me about your film clip Beeman. They said, cosa significa? And I was like, well,
there.
what
So
Linda
funny,
was
we
trying to
started off-
explain.
We should have started off with something like this and then gone into timelines.
Yeah, I know. We lost our audience. But you know what? You know what we've done today, if nothing else? We have turned that algorithm upside down.
We're not going to have
Upside
anyone.
down, you're turning me. You feel the love instinctively. Round and round, you're turning me. That's it, yeah. So the algorithm's going, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, we got serious? What's this shit? We got serious? So let me say,
Are they scientists?
I'm likely not to get serious a
Are they
lot.
comedians? Are they singers?
Hang on, wait.
Yes.
Do they believe that the earth is like what? Hang on. They had jobs. They worked. Like someone paid these people. They were employed. Yeah. So, we were algorithm. Yeah. So on that note, I think we cleanly wrapped this up. No editing to do this week. Great. It was easy. Except for those swear words. Oh, sorry about the workers.
There's a time in my life where I felt worth it. Alright, I think they get it.
Yeah.
This is where Lynn's gonna go.
You've got to cut all this. That whole 10 minutes where you're drilling, just cut it out. You know that bit where you're pretending to drill, just cut that all out, guys. It's too much. It's too much drilling.
The joke. We're in
We
on
get
the-
it. We get it. It's not, it's funny. It was funny the first time. We get it.
Anyway, she's given us the bird, so I think we wrap up on that. Peace.
Arrivederci.
Okay.
Yeah. I said
we-
to my mom,
And anyway, so I had this really tough moment, and I hit rock bottom. Oh, they're drilling it now. Yep. Good times.